Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Waters Run Deeps podcast. So if you're one of those who laugh out loud at the moment you hear flat Earth, then you're nothing more than a blind believer of Greek mythology based wing of modern science. So it's time to sober up. Tonight's going to be an episode about flat Earth. Chris is going to try and convince us that the Earth is in fact flat. Amanda, myself, Savannah's on this episode tonight. We all do not believe that. But first, we got a nice Florida man story coming up from Amanda.
All right. So today's Florida man story is brought to you by a Florida man crushed to death by bulldozer while using porta potty.
Well, that was smart.
For real?
That's a crappy way to go.
Yeah.
So a Florida man was killed in a bizarre bulldozer accident while the landfill he was working at was shutting down for the day. The traffic control contractor working in the north central landfill of Polk County, of course it's Polk County, when sheriff deputies were called to the scene at around 5 p.m. after a bulldozer crushed him to death while he was using a porta potty.
Hey, Polk County might not have the smartest construction workers, but their sheriff is a darn fine man.
Grady Judd, right?
Grady Judd.
America's sheriff.
So did he park the machine and then go into the bathroom and the machine started moving and hit the porta potty and ran him over?
So what it says here is that prior to the accident, the bulldozer was driving up an embankment to park for the night with the front blade elevated far enough to block part of its view. So it must not have seen, somebody else was driving and must not have noticed that it ran over a porta potty and that someone was in said shitter.
So somebody was actually driving this thing.
Oh yeah, this was not like a rogue porta potty or a rogue porta potty. This was not.
There was something rogue about it for sure.
This was not a rogue.
How do you not realize when someone is in a porta potty?
You don't know. I mean, I guess from like a bulldozer perspective, I've never driven a bulldozer.
Yeah, you can't.
I don't know if you all have, but I imagine you probably can't see the green little light that says occupied, unoccupied.
Maybe you can smell them.
Well,
yeah, but that's a porta potty. You smell that a mile away.
You don't smell the person inside the porta potty until you run him over.
Well, it depends on who's in there.
Like with a porta potty, you would keep the door open to let people know. To let people know that it's empty and the door closed when someone's in there.
Oh, no, they're on like a spring.
It like spring back.
Yeah, they're like spring.
All the time.
That would make sense though.
Yeah, sorry, she's a little bougie. No,
they like to keep the sound of the smell in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of. That's a minute.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well,
have to edit that out.
Keep the sound of something and something.
Yeah. I'm going to put that on a loop.
That should be one of the sound bites, huh?
I crop it and put it on a loop.
There you go.
So once on top of the embankment, the driver began to turn when he heard a pronounced crumbling noise, realizing he had driven over the porta potty and said friend in the porta potty. He ran back to see if anyone was inside. At the time, he realized that the other person was unresponsive, and that's when he called. This is my favorite part. Law enforcement handling the situation said it was a tragic industrial accident.
Yeah, I mean, it's truth, but could you imagine though getting squished by that? It's like having a tank run over you.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, at what point did the friend go, he's unresponsive? Well, he's flat as a pancake.
As I say,
or Earth. I mean, he's flat as Earth.
When he had the tread of the bulldozer laid into him. Yeah.
I bet you that was not an open casket.
No.
Because the person's dead. That's what he usually
Who
calls.
else are you going to call? The Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters.
That's
That's
right.
true.
All right. Well, they have never experienced anything like this before, is what the company said. But I will also say that just like this, I've never experienced having to have a conversation on flat Earth. And so, Christopher, take it away.
Wonderful. So we're definitely going to wing this one because I don't think any of us did any research. So we just pulled some stuff on the interwebs up and we're going to roll off that. Most of my stuff's going to be coming from flatearth101.com. That's where most of my research that I'm getting as we're doing this is coming from. So there's several different things on here, and a couple of the tabs are fact versus theory, gravity, top 10 proofs. So I went to top 10 proofs, and the first one is the high altitude amateur balloon footage. So there's a picture on here that will.
I'm sorry. I'm going to need you to say that one again for me, please.
High altitude amateur balloon footage.
Is that like what someone does on their spare time? Like, my hobby is high altitude amateur balloon footaging.
Yeah.
Footaging?
You put
Footaging?
Is that not
Like
what it's called?
photography? Footaging. I don't think footaging is the correct
Yeah.
terminology.
No, I don't think that's the word.
AVD.
So yeah, that's exactly what these are. It's just people that I guess like to strap GoPros to balloons and send them up in the sky and then hope they can find them again, I guess, because that seems like it'd be a little difficult to catch them after they come down, because who knows where they're going to go. Which that goes.
They have Find My GoPro.
Well, it might have GPS on it, but that leads into another
Doesn't
theory.
GPS work because of the Earth not being flat?
Oh,
No,
be careful.
It works off satellites.
Right, that orbit, the Earth.
It could be a different orbit. It doesn't have to go
A different
around.
Orbit, like what? Like
Instead
a
of-
flat orbit?
Instead of going ocular, it could just be circling over top.
No, that's not how it
I
works.
don't know that
Okay, all right,
works,
all right.
because then it wouldn't have to move.
Wouldn't want that to move.
The
Yeah, it
Satellite.
would. Why wouldn't it?
why would it? The only
If it's
reason it's
flat,
orbiting.
you can just put it in the middle and it gets signal to
Okay.
everywhere.
Like a top spin?
Well, no, if you just send something up and make it stationary in space because we're flat, it can just stay over us
Mm-hmm.
and do its job. It doesn't need to orbit or move.
Well, another thing too is they talk about speaking about them sending the balloon up with the GoPros. If you send something up in the sky, the Earth's moving at whatever speed. I know it's like a ridiculous amount of speed that we're moving through the cosmos, and as fast as the Earth is actually spinning. So it's really fast.
Supposedly spinning.
Yeah, supposedly spinning. So if you think about it, you put that GoPro up in the air at the balloon, yeah, it's going to go through the wind and the wind's going to blow it off track some. But just in the speed of the Earth, that balloon should be way off. You know what I mean? Because the Earth's moving as it's going up. The Earth should be moving away from it as it's going up.
Well,
'Cause it's no longer attached to the Earth.
I understand, and Chris, both you and I shoot. Amanda, you have not shot yet? I know we've discussed this.
Keep
on
talking and
previous-
I'll show you about my shooting
I ain't
skills.
scared.
I'm terrible.
Anyway, you and I, Chris, both know long range shooting, you have to account for the rotation of the Earth, the curvature of the Earth, and windage at a distant shot.
That's what they call it. But I wish I knew more about this, guys, but there's another term for that. That's what we were told that math's for, but the flat earthers say there's another reason for that they do that.
Sorry.
Believe it or not, yes.
Go ahead and include yourself in this, flat earthers.
No, I'm on
don't
the fence.
Stand on the outside.
I believe it's a realm. I think it's a simulation. I don't think we're even.
Well, here we go back to this one. That was episode
I
what,
got
2?
one to throw
One.
in on you.
That was episode 1.
As an astronaut, you go up into space. You're up into space. According to the hours that you're up in space, weeks have gone by here on Earth.
Yeah, that's
And in
like deep
fact- and in
space.
effect, you've only been up there for maybe 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, that's like deep space.
Yeah,
though.
that's like getting close to a black hole or something like
No.
that.
No. You're up there, you're stationary. The Earth is spinning down here. And while the Earth is spinning down here is 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. And you've only been up there maybe a couple hours.
I mean, I see what you're saying, but I think that that's further away from the Earth than.
The further away you get, the more time goes by that you're there, that you're not experiencing, but the people on Earth are.
Right, but I don't think we've sent astronauts high enough to experience that.
How do you
think
know
some
where
of
they
this-
went? How do you know they were up there?
How do
Did
I
you
know they were
go?
up
Did you
there?
go with them?
No, but I believe that NASA sent people up.
You
into
believe?
space. I do.
Hey, you've heard the one with a Nazi, a Satanist.
Is this a bar joke?
Yeah, Nazi, Nazi, Satanist, and the leader of Scientology walk into a bar. Know what they did,
Sounds like the kind of podcast I listen to.
right?
Or
Yeah,
the
they-
kind of podcast that I'm involved in.
They created NASA
Well,
you know that?
That's true.
A Nazi,
'cause you
a
had Von
Satanist.
Braun as
and
a
Walt
Nazi.
Disney.
Von Braun was the
Walt
Nazi.
Yeah.
Disney.
Yeah, he's involved too. He's a Nazi supporter
Right, but I think I missed what year.
because all three of them were involved in creation.
Okay.
Von Braun, Walt Disney, Elon Hubbard,
Elon Hubbard. You
yeah,
just
and
Ron
Aleister Crowley,
Ron L. Hubbard.
Ron L. Hubbard.
Oh, Elon Musk is coming back in. Here we go.
Every episode we make fun of this man. We're
Oh
gonna
my
get
gosh.
sued.
So,
Elon
okay,
Hubbard.
hang on. What do you think that Elon Musk sent into outer space, into deep space? Do you think that he honestly sent his car, his Tesla out there?
Yes.
No,
You don't. You think that he's part of the ploy also?
I think that they're all part of the ploy. They just don't know it. I think everybody.
So you think that he's made to believe that he sent this out? And,
he could be in on it? He might
I
know
thought
the
he
whole
was,
thing.
like, the controller of the simulation.
well, and that's
Yeah, I could believe that.
I think that's what we discussed during our simulation episode.
Yeah.
But I truly believe we're sending stuff to space.
You think?
I do.
Yeah, wholeheartedly.
I think we've been spending,
But then again-
sending munitions up there to the moon for a long time.
Oh, I believe that too.
So
I think
now-
there's
I have heard theories of the dark side of the moon being
yes.
a base, but I've also heard of it being a Nazi base.
Yes, and it's fascinating. There's people that it's called a 20 and back program,
Mhm.
and there's people that swear that when they were young, they were taken, and these aliens basically told them they're going to be put in this program, and it was the secret space program, or it was called something else, and they were taken to like the moon and did like a boot camp, and then they were taken to Mars and then other planets to fight these aliens or whatever. It's
Mhm.
kind of like a Battlestar Galactica type deal.
Yeah.
And then after their 20 years of service is up, they're put back into their original body and
So, yeah.
in mind. So they're basically go back and be young.
So
So,
they're
basically
taking-
they lived a 20-year life, but
Yeah.
it was you could kind of present it as like they lived a 20-year life in a dream, because when they came back, they were the same as when they left.
So somehow they've taken them out
Like
of their
back in
body,
time.
like
Yeah.
like
their soul.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. And it like put them back in time. It's fascinating to hear these people talk about it, man. I know you're sitting there shaking your head, but I'm telling you, it is fascinating. You can call them crackpots or whatever, but it is just interesting. And they've gone through a lot to go to like embed this in their brain to spit off this story. You know, it's fascinating. Not saying I believe it.
I mean,
But-
that's extremely weird. I mean, to say that, and I understand what you're saying, because we've all talked about the aliens coming and these people having the out of body experiences to where they're abducted by aliens or taken somewhere or done
Probed.
something probed or
Coming.
whatever.
They're already here.
The aliens.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
lizard people. And
the
they were in
lizard people.
England
Yeah,
and
you're right.
UK.
Well, and Elon Musk. Not
Yeah.
to bring him back in, but
Why not? I already feel like he's coming after us. Sorry, Adam.
I mean, look at Biden. Alien.
All right. So apparently this is a FAA. They're using the FAA for this one. It says the FAA assumes a flat Earth when training pilots using their target generation facility. So an airplane traveling 500 miles per hour would have to compensate for a drop of 2,777 feet every minute to maintain cruising altitude and not to fly off into space. So basically, as they're flying in the sky, they would have to continually pull up, because otherwise they're not going to fire or pull down. Otherwise, they're not going to follow the curvature of the Earth. They're going to keep going straight, and the Earth's going to curve. So, and they would have to do that like every minute, compensate for that.
so you're saying they would have to do that if the Earth was round.
Yes.
They would have to compensate for that.
Right.
Not so you don't think that the atmosphere is what's keeping us from floating out into space. You don't think that there's an atmosphere?
Yeah, I think there's I think I don't want to say I think. The way they present it is there's some kind of filament
Or
up
what
there.
do you
that's-
think? What do you, I mean,
I think it's like a realm. There's several realms, and we're just in one of them. So you can call it a simulation, call it what it is, but
Other dimensions.
yeah.
Well, yeah,
multiverse, things
yeah.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah, Amanda's brought that up.
yeah.
Well, think
I
we've all-
definitely
yeah,
believe that.
We've talked about that and how we feel we live in different dimensions.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
when I got sick, it
Me in
was
another dimension. He's rich, I'm not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're
It's-
sitting here hurting. Where's our money?
yeah. It's so I think there's
Hey, if we
multiple.
get 1,000 listeners, we get $10.
Yeah.
Come on,
I
listeners.
think there's multiple realms out there, and I think there's different, like you said, I'm poor in this realm, but the other realm I'm rich. I definitely think that. And I think, with CERN doing what they're doing in Switzerland, I think, finding the God particle and stuff like they did.
Yeah.
I think so, because that happened about 2012, and I really believe that something happened.
Well, it got
around
really quiet after they started finding these particles and we're doing some interesting research there.
Yeah.
I do remember hearing about it, and then all of a sudden it like dropped.
Yeah.
Like you don't hear a lot about it anymore.
And that's why I think something
there's a theory
happened.
the world ended
Mhm.
in 2012,
Yep.
and we're just living in a dream right now.
Yep. I've heard that too. Yep.
I think mine's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I can tell you, I'm living a freaking nightmare. I mean, with everything going on with me, it is a nightmare. But so back to, so you believe there's like a plastic or a filament that holds us onto this flat Earth.
Yep. Yep.
But that makes no sense, because eventually, when we got close enough to that filament, wouldn't we hit it? Wouldn't we feel it?
Are you saying like when we go into space or when we're flying?
Yes, but no. Like, if we were to walk to Antarctica and say the Earth is flat, and there's this, well,
No,
maybe
go
not
ahead.
walk,
No,
but
no.
fly. If we went to the Antarctica ice wall, wouldn't there, if there is a barrier, wouldn't we just hit the barrier so we wouldn't fall off?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what it is. I don't think it's like it's just an ice wall. You're on the ocean, you get to the end, there's just an ice wall. I do think there's a period where there's Antarctica where there, you see ice and everything else. I do think there's some of that, but it's not all of it. You know what I mean? I think just beyond that, that's where the filament kicks in. So, but a lot of people don't know this either, is that we've flown from from east to west all the time. Planes fly east to west all the time and have been all the way around the entire Earth flying that way, right?
All the way straight.
Yeah. So the other way, going north to south, nobody's done that. Nobody's flown from north to south and gone all the way around the entire Earth. Nobody's done it.
It's unnecessary for them to do.
Well, there's people that have tried to do it. There was a guy that was going to do it for the Guinness World Records, and he didn't. He had to turn around for whatever reason. Nobody knows why. And he came back and went the other way, and they still gave him the medal, but technically he didn't fly all the way around from north to south. And I think that comes into because you can fly east to west.
So nobody's ever flown.
Yeah, but if you flew from Canada to Australia, isn't that basically north to south?
No, I'm saying going all the way around though.
So they've never gone from the North Pole to the South Pole.
Exactly,
back to the North
exactly. Nobody's ever done it.
Nobody's ever done it.
Nobody.
I find that hard to believe.
Look it up.
Yeah. Because Charles Lindbergh went all the way
He went
around.
east to west, yeah.
And Amelia Earhart tried to.
Yeah.
Well, she got lost in the triangle.
Didn't
I'm
have
in a
enough,
really bad at directions.
she didn't have enough bologna sandwiches.
There it is. That 10 plane she was flying broke apart. So, okay. So we're talking about the ice wall, and I saw a picture of this ice wall that is supposedly what holds the water in, that holds our oceans in.
It's been accomplished 3 times.
How thick do you think this ice wall is? What was that? I'm sorry.
Miles.
Well, I Googled, and the interweb said that you might think circling the globe by airplane is no big deal anymore, but you'd be wrong. Surprisingly, circumnavigating the world via the North Pole to the South Pole in an airline is a feat accomplished only 3 times.
North to south has been accomplished only 3 times?
Yeah. North Pole to South Pole by airline.
That's odd.
3 times.
Because
I
I
thought
would.
you just said no one's ever done it.
Well, Chris said that no one's ever done it, but Amanda Googled it.
And an international flight crew has broken the record for the fastest circumnavigation.
See, but you're looking up the wrong thing, because they're flying from north to south pole, yes. So that's no different than the flat Earth theory. I'm talking about going from, say, flying from the north to south pole back to the North Pole, going the opposite side.
So you're saying starting on the United
That's
States
not-
side, going toward the North Pole, going on the, let's say, China side to the South Pole, and back on the United States side and landing in Florida.
Exactly. That's
Nobody's ever done that.
No. Guy tried to do it, and he got down to the bottom, like the ones you're talking about, and he would turn back.
And did he give a reason why he turned back?
I think he did, but it was some like nonsense, not enough fuel, whatever.
Really?
Yeah, something stupid like that.
That makes sense. Like not enough fuel. The not enough fuel excuse makes
But
sense.
Oh, apparently there
You
are
wouldn't-
technological, political, and logistical
We're getting there.
reasons that prevent this and make it a challenge.
So what basically what you're saying there is that there's political reasons, logistical. And I'm going with the logical factor of this, but logistical reasons why people can't do that. So like you can't fly over certain areas. Is that what I'm?
That's what it sounds like, and it also sounds like technology, which probably because of
Well, the poles, I
the
would
poles
assume.
and
Yeah.
the magnetization. Which, by the way, the poles are magnetic because of it being a globe. And unless we have an argument for that one.
Well, I'm pretty sure I do. I think I remember seeing that. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing that.
So there are specific places that planes are not allowed to fly over. And those are Thurmont, Maryland, which is where Camp David is.
Which is understandable.
Amarillo, Texas, near there's a nuclear assembly plant. Bush Ranch in Crawford, Texas.
He has a no-fly zone
He
over
has a
his
no-fly
ranch.
zone over his ranch.
Are you kidding me?
No.
That's freaking awesome.
The Naval Submarine Base in Georgia and the Naval Base Kitsap in Washington.
That's where they're training the SEALs.
Yeah.
Not the Navy SEAls, but
the spy SEALs.
art
Yeah,
SEAls
yeah.
that we talked about.
Oh man.
Currently, no country owns the North Pole. It sits in international waters. And its closest land territory is Canada.
So, like, could we go up there and plant a Waters flag in there and say on the name of Waters?
No,
we claim this
Nazis
land?
did that. Nazis did that back in World War II.
What for North Pole? They took North Pole.
Yeah.
No,
and you can't-
Antarctica.
Oh,
They
this
did that
is the
right-
North Pole.
oh,
So
sorry.
the North Pole, you can only travel between June and July when the ice is thinner. And all the other months, Santa says, no, sir.
Why you travel because I guess you couldn't get an ice breaking ship in there because the ice is so thick? Is
Yeah,
that-
it says it's something to do with the helicopters and trying to charter planes and helicopters and ships to get through to.
this kind of fits in with Chris's thing because now you only have 2 months that you can fly into or over the North Pole. I would
Yeah.
assume.
Why is it just those 2 months?
Well, and that's my thing. Why do I have to wait till there's thin ice? I kind of want to land
Okay.
on thick ice. I'm a big boy.
So
Yeah.
for Antarctica is the only continent on Earth without a native human population. Since no country owns Antarctica, no visa is required to travel there. But if you are a citizen of a country that is part of the signatory Antarctic Treaty, then you can travel there.
Ooh, and that treaty is fascinating. Do you know? So back after World War II, Admiral Byrd, who's a Navy, admiral,
Mm-hmm.
he took an expedition to the North or to the Antarctica and took a ridiculous amount of battleships and airplanes and everything else. And they went down there, and apparently he talks about encountering like another species that had flying objects and Nazis, and has this crazy battle, and pretty much wipes out a good chunk of his fleet, and comes back and talks about it, and they hush him and everything. And not long after that is when the treaty came up. So I think whatever that population, whatever, and I don't think it's a population that lives on Antarctica. I think there's that's the entrance to the Hollow Earth. That gets into the Hollow Earth theory. You ever heard about that?
No, and I haven't even heard about this
Yeah.
treaty, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested.
Yeah. So the Hollow Earth is basically saying that there's a Earth inside of our Earth. Civilization, everything inside our.
Really?
Yeah.
Like where the dinosaurs
Yeah.
went.
Did you see the newest King Kong Godzilla movie?
Oh, yeah.
That talks about it a lot.
Yeah.
About that theory. So that kind of gives a entry level to that idea of Hollow Earth. And if any, out of most of them, I believe that one as well, along with the realm thing, is the Hollow Earth. It's just fascinating to believe that. And you can't travel up there. There's pictures of a huge opening up in Antarctica. And I think that when Admiral Byrd went up there, when he encountered those beings, they attacked them and he came back. And then after that, they sent another expedition up there. And that's when the treaty came up.
Mm.
So
it's kind of like a space peace treaty, if you will, for
yeah.
Really?
Mhm. They can't establish no country can establish a military presence
Yeah.
on Antarctica.
Mhm.
It's just funny, you know.
So back to flying and the flat Earth. So apparently, most commonly, planes fly east to west, or they fly east. They go east because of the jet stream. So that sounds like, wouldn't they have to just go east? And if you keep going east, that's how you go around the world.
Yeah, because the magnet's going to keep pulling it. So as long as you keep going that way, it's going to point that you're
Right,
pointing
so
in that
but if-
direction.
The Earth is flat. Eventually, you're going to hit the ice. You're not going to be able to.
No, and they say that when they do it, you're flying on a different plane. You're still making a circle, but you're not making a circle around. You're kind of making a circle.
Well,
I
think
wish
that's-
I- you know what I mean?
I think that's what Savannah was kind of curious
Yeah.
about with the whole bumping into whatever it is that holds us in here, you know.
Yeah.
How if I went far enough east, am I going to bump into whatever stops me?
Mhm.
You know?
No, because it's you're going to continue going. You're going in a circle, but you're going on like a plane circle.
So you're saying that I guess the Earth's magnetic field, whatever,
It's still the North Pole,
Right.
But it's like it. You know, you're
So
kind of going
it's-
this way
it's just
instead of this way.
it's just going to keep the, I guess, the compass
Right.
pointed in a certain direction, and you're just going to fly that direction,
Mhm.
not knowing that you're not going around.
Right.
You're just going in a circle.
Right.
So it's kind of like you're going in a circle instead of like an oval or
Right.
a
Well,
cylinder.
Cylinder,
Yeah.
yeah. Exactly. So now water's another example. So water always finds its level. If the Earth were a giant sphere hurtling through infinite space, then flat level surfaces would not exist here. But since Earth is in fact an extended plane, this physical property of fluids finding and remaining level is consistent with our observations. Sweet Jesus.
I'm gonna need you to repeat all of that because Ingrid almost showed us what happens when water comes out and finds itself trying to level. And I stopped listening because I was worried she was gonna drown.
Well, honestly, I'm not going to read that one because I don't even know what the hell they're talking about. I read it, I was like, I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
She honestly straight drowned herself just now. That was wild.
No, wasn't nice.
Clearly not just ice, huh?
All right. So this one's We See Too Far. It is often possible to see the Chicago skyline from sea level 60 miles away across Lake Michigan. In 2015, Chicago photographer Joshua Nowicki captured this phenomenon. According to the curvature formula, 8 inches times miles squared, Chicago should be 2,400 feet below the horizon. So they're saying, as far as you can see, because of the curvature of the Earth, the model that the NASA, I believe, gives for the curvature of the Earth is 8 inches times miles squared. So every mile, it drops 8 inches. Does that make sense? So as far as every mile you can see, the Earth should curve 8 inches. So there should be 8 inches of curve. So it, I don't know, 10 miles, it's going to be whatever, 80 inches down.
80 inches down.
Yeah.
But okay, so with a flat Earth, how would that work for us? Would we just see in a straight plane across? Is that what?
Well, yeah, but
they're
due to
trying to say?
hills and everything like that, you're not able to see straight across. Like in Chicago, you can't see straight across because there's hills coming up, and that would be on there whether the Earth was flat or not. Oh, Jesus Christ. I said Chicago. Why did Chicago stuck in my mind? Colorado, yes. Jeez, and crackers.
Well, I mean, you're
actually
so we're-
Illinois is the funnest state in the union. Actually.
By the way, that was all muted. So
Yeah, I did it to myself. I didn't do that. I did it to myself earlier. I forgot.
3, 2.
I wonder if did it get picked up on anybody else's mic though.
it
Probably.
will.
Okay.
So, but we're in Florida right now.
We are?
Well, yeah, all of us are in Florida, right?
Yeah. Are we?
not? I mean, I don't know. The Earth is round, so flat, or what is it? So where
I
are
think
we?
it's a star.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they want you to believe,
They being
right? NASA, I guess, and Galileo and whoever else. So
Newton.
we're in Florida. It's pretty flat here.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that I can't see, or I should be able to see like to Key West if my vision was that good, let's say.
Yeah, if your vision were that good, you would be able to see that. But given the Earth's curvature, I don't know how far Key West exactly is from here, however many miles. It would go down 8 inches every mile. So you wouldn't be able to see it. And that's what they're saying with this picture, is that he's 60 miles away from Lake Michigan, looking across Lake Michigan,
Right.
and he can see the Chicago skyline.
Right.
So given the flat Earth or the globe model, he shouldn't be able to see that because Chicago would be 22,400 feet below the horizon. So some of these, you would see maybe the top of some of these buildings, but you wouldn't be able to see the complete skyline like that. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I
That's
get
what he's
it.
saying.
But
Maybe he's in the middle of the lake.
no, he's in the middle of Lake Michigan, looking 60 miles.
Hello?
How about that?
It's my husband. He wants to be a part of this.
So, but okay, no, but that's what he said. He said this guy's in the middle of Lake Michigan, looking 60 miles towards the Chicago, right?
Yeah.
The Chicago skyline, and he can see the skyline, and he shouldn't be able to. Is what he's trying to prove. He should probably be able to see the tops of the buildings.
Let me see the picture again, Chris, please.
And you see how he sees the whole. You can pretty much see like the whole skyline.
Mhm.
You know,
And it should be, you should be seeing like the top of that building probably only because it should be 2,400 feet up.
right?
See, that looks photoshopped because I'm looking at the picture right now and we'll probably post it on Instagram. But you see how the sky is like so pink? It's
Well,
almost like an unnatural pink.
yes, I agree, but I think it's zoomed in really far because he's 60 miles away. So he's got that camera probably maxed out, so it's going to distort and
So then their
pixelate.
argument doesn't work either. If
Right,
you're
because
using
if you're
camera
zoomed
images.
in,
Wait a minute. Okay. You just proved a point for me, guys. If you're zooming in, does that zoom turn and go around the curvature?
I'm not a photographer.
It doesn't
I'm
matter.
not. What do they
It
call it?
zooms
earlier?
straight. It doesn't zoom
Call it earlier?
and look
I
over
can't remember,
objects.
but I was gonna throw it out there if I was smart enough to remember that.
I'm not an
but-
image taker.
Imager,
An imager?
yeah,
I'm
something,
an
whatever that
imager.
is. No, but
It's just
if you
zooming
zoom-
straight.
But if
It's
you
not
zoom
zooming
something,
and
it
looking.
brings you closer to the object you're looking at.
Yes. But it doesn't look over something. If I zoom in with a picture, I'm not going to look
Over
over
the
that
curve.
shelf. Yeah, I'm not going to look over the curve. It's just going to zoom in at the top of that
Okay,
bend.
but you do
Yeah.
see the curve because if you're like going closer, like if as you get closer to the city, you're able to see the smaller aspects on the ground. Where here, I can just see the buildings. I don't see the humans and all the people
Well, yeah,
and stuff like
very
that.
true.
That's distortion, and there's an excuse for that too. Is there's a distortion?
Excuse for it.
Yeah.
Excuse for
Excuse for everything. I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
I think about like when we go on the boat, right? And I see the Tampa, I can see the buildings. And then as we get closer and closer, then I can see, oh, look, there's the Marriott. There's like the people, the palm trees.
You bring up a good point, Amanda and Chris. You've been out on pretty decent expeditions on the boat.
Yeah.
As you're traveling away from land to go fishing, what happens to the land?
It
Are
gets
you-
darker and darker.
No, but
Say that
It
again.
goes away.
as you're traveling away from the land, right, going fishing, and you're sitting on the back of the boat looking at the shore at the beach and going, "Ha, this is going to be a great day." Where does the land go? It
Well-
kind of sinks in the water. Yes.
It doesn't sink in the water. It kind of distorts. It kind of fades out because you're getting so far away. The atmosphere or whatever that's keeping us in, the filament or whatever, is kind of distorting it. It's not necessarily, you don't see it like fall off anything.
I
I
mean,
feel like we just made the same face, Dave.
I feel like I'm making a really stupid face to you because I don't believe what the hell you're saying. You've never watched it
I've
sink
watched
into the
not
ocean.
sink. It kind of fizzles out. It
It
doesn't
fizzles
really.
out.
Yeah, they doesn't sink.
No,
Please
it
go
goes
get your eyes
away.
checked.
Like
It goes away, yes, but it's not like
Yes,
Yes,
it
it
is.
is.
no.
Yes, it is. It
No.
is 1,000%.
No. This
like
is where I
goes
need.
away.
This is where I wish Uncle Jack was still sitting at the table because I would like to hear his perspective on it.
Okay, are we talking about going on the boat at day or at night? 'Cause
Well, no,
it's
it,
That
different.
shouldn't matter.
it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter
No,
because
it
you
kind of
have.
does because at night you've got all the lights on, and then
I got the
as you,
answer.
oh my gosh, as you drive away from Tampa, Tampa's like really lit up. So
Well, that's
the
light
light-
pollution is because of that. Yes. So light.
no.
That's a
I'm
real
talking about the
thing.
lights.
No,
the buildings.
I understand what you're
Yeah,
saying.
that's causing light pollution, which is what's causing it to be lit up and to take up so much space. If you're out in the middle of nowhere, like on our cruise, oh sorry, Dave, then and there is no light pollution, and you actually can see farther because you're not having light pollution like mess up the stars and what you're seeing.
I
And you
understand.
can see the curvature of the ocean.
I understand what you're saying, Savannah. Where
No, and
as
it's-
you're pulling away and you're looking at the lights, where did they disappear? They
The lights
disappear.
fizzle out.
They don't fizzle. I don't know what.
No.
Stop
Well,
listening to your cousin.
I'm not
They don't
listening to my
fizzle.
cousin.
They drop. They sink into the water.
The buildings do, but the lights fizzle out.
So here's the answer, guys. So over the curve. So it's a common misconception that boats disappear out of sight because of the curvature of the Earth. The introduction of the Nikon P900 and the P1000 have posed a real problem for that supposed curve of the Earth. So if you look at these pictures,
It's gone.
yeah, screw that up.
Just like the things that go into the earth.
So here it is, no zoom. Here it is zoomed, and here it is super zoom. So no zoom, it looks like it's not there, right?
Yeah.
But when you zoom in, you clearly see a boat.
Okay, no, that boat was added by a computer. That is
no,
not
no,
real.
it's
That
No, it is
boat
because
was
on the
added
middle.
by a
If you look at the middle picture, Chris, the hull of the boat is not as visible as it is with the super zoom.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
so
right.
it
It
can't,
looks like it's underwater.
right, but it's not because of the curvature of the Earth.
What the
Because
hell is it? Because of a wave?
it's possible.
No.
There's nothing to zoom in on to be able to
telling
see
you.
that. That boat was added the same way that I add.
They did it. There's videos
Pictures.
out there of them doing it, like zooming in
I'm sure
and
there's
zooming
videos
out.
of them doing it.
No, Chris. Look at the cloud. Look at the clouds.
You can see a curve in the picture.
Can you hear him?
It's subtle, but you can see it.
You can see what?
There's a slight curve in the picture. It's not a perfect straight line.
Well, until you get to the super zoom, which is fake.
Well, you can look at the clouds and tell that the whole sky is different. Like in the first two pictures, the no zoom and the zoom, the clouds are completely different.
Well, I do see the clouds move in the sky. So it
Yeah,
could
explain
have
that one.
What the hell?
Sherlock.
You're
could have just
like-
been the clouds move.
Clydes?
Clydes.
all the Clydesdales
Yeah.
are trotting across the sky right now. No, so I okay, I understand the clouds move. You're glad we got that. I don't know if that's like a projected image that just kind of slides across and then like reloops. But
That's
no,
why I keep
if
seeing the
you're
dinosaurs
if
in the
you
sky.
right, if you're taking one picture and you're going no zoom, okay, here's the original photo, right? And then you're going, let's zoom in on that photo. Now you see the little boat. And the boat comes in the picture, and then you get the super zoom. Well, here's the freaking boat because it's a flat Earth and you can see it. The cloud would be the same cloud. Yes or no? Because you're using the same picture. That boat should be moving across the water.
So here's a video. This is a buoy.
Okay.
That's not photoshopped.
It's a buoy.
Okay, the shakiness of the camera is just making me mad.
I'm pretty sure they zoom out. Yeah, he zooms out.
Yeah, but you can still see it there.
Look,
can still
now
see
you
it
can
there.
still see what there.
It's right. Oh, okay. No, I lost it.
You can still see what there, man.
I don't see anything now.
No, but okay, how small is a buoy compared to
That's just an
pulling away from
example.
land?
Huh?
How small is a buoy compared to pulling away from land?
Well, how tall is the buoy?
No. Okay,
Well, it's
so
a question.
let's
I guess.
compare a buoy to driving away from Clearwater Beach.
Or skyline?
Or okay,
It doesn't matter. It still follows the same principle. If you can see the buoy, then you're definitely going to see the skyline. You know what I mean?
right. But as you pull away from the buoy, where does the buoy go? It just fizzles out.
Yeah, that's what you just can't see because your eyes aren't strong enough to see it.
But
You don't
when
have.
watch
You can't
the-
zoom your eyeballs.
Well, thank God. No, I kind of wish I did.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
When you watch the land,
I'm telling it.
you
think,
don't feel it falls below the curvature.
No, I just think it fizzles out's a terrible, terrible description for that, but it kind of fades. It fades. It doesn't
goes
literally.
into the fog.
It's not like a puppet show where at the end of the puppet show they just drop down.
Right.
It's not like that. It
Yeah.
just kind of fades out where your eyes can't see it any longer. If you had binoculars or a P900 or P1000 Nikon that can zoom ridiculous amount, then yeah, you could probably still see it because you're zooming in,
So
seeing
if I go 35 miles out and I have this huge zoomable telescope or what have you, I should still be able to see the skyline.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that sounds stupid to some extent, but because I've never tried it, but I'd like to. I would like to.
I'd like to go ahead and test the theory.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I would definitely like to test that theory and say, okay, well, let's go 30 miles out and see where the land goes in this telescope.
Yeah.
Can I still see this Marriott or what have you?
I like boats.
I mean, I'm a fan.
Boats and hose.
I'm down.
Catalina Wine Festival.
It's Catalina wine mixer.
My next.
Come on.
I know.
It's
fail.
the #1 helicopter leasing event.
Boats and hose.
All right. So this one's about sun rays. So the sun is smaller than Earth and very close. We can trace.
Wait, whoa. I'm sorry. The sun is smaller than the Earth, or at least very close in size.
That's
No
what
way.
they're saying. It says smaller than Earth and very close. We could trace the angle of the rays back to their source above the clouds. The sun is clearly not massive or 93 million miles away, but relatively close.
We have clearly deviated from the flat Earth.
Oh, this
whole
is
theory.
this is definitely
We are
black
saying,
belt conspiracy theory.
Oh yeah, we're
shit right
definitely
here.
throwing NASA under the bus right now and going, no horn.
No, but there's proof that the sun is so much bigger than the Earth.
How?
Science.
It's
And
literally
NASA
really
has
bigger
proven
than
it.
Science.
Science. Say that again, babe.
Science.
Adam, say it again.
Oh.
Oh, did we lose you?
I wish I knew it was
Uh,
called. I could have plugged him into the
I
thing.
think
here.
we lost him.
All right, so jet streams. So jet streams on globe Earth versus flat Earth. Which one makes more sense? So here's jet streams on the globe Earth on the left here. That's what apparently the jet streams look like
Right.
on a globe. This is what they would look like on a flat Earth. Which one makes more sense?
The globe one.
This one makes more
Because-
sense with the
what-
squiggly lines.
Because I've grown up with the globe.
You've grown
Theory.
accustomed to having a globe.
I've grown accustomed to the world being round and not in a flat donut shape. I believe that the jet streams being squiggly are true. And the reason for that is our weather is not the same.
It's not
No, it isn't.
the same as what?
Especially in Florida. Like every 5 minutes we have a different.
Well, yeah, I'm
weather
not
pattern.
saying. Yeah, I'm not saying the
So
jet
wh-
streams don't exist.
Well, okay. But if we had the same jet stream as that picture illustrates as one donut over, the certain places. So red is over, let's say red is over Florida 100% of the time because that just is where the circle is.
Well, I don't think it fluctuates. I think it fluctuates like in and out of the circle. I don't think it fluctuates like
Oh, well,
completely
there's that.
wrapped around. You know what I mean? I think it.
Can we go back for a second? The sun. I'm still on this thought. The sun is the same size or smaller than the Earth.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
No.
It's the
Because
dumbest thing I've ever heard.
And he comes in hot.
I've never been to the sun. I do worship it.
That's where most
Worship the
religions,
sun?
most
Yeah.
religions
Oh,
come
yeah.
from sun worship.
I love the sun.
Well, I love the sun, but I wouldn't say worship.
Oh
the
yeah, when I
sun.
was in college, we would go and sit outside on the docks and hang out with the alligators until the pool opened.
So
and then we go to
you-
the pool, and then we come to class.
you
And my
tanned
English
in the
teacher
sun, but
was
you
like,
didn't worship
"How
the
was the
sun."
sun, my sun worshippers?" And we said it was great.
Well, that's against all Bible religion that I was taught.
Most religions started out as sun worship.
Yeah, Ra, baby, Ra. So I like cats. Anyways, the sun is equal or smaller than the earth. How
I thought we said
conceited and
equal or
nepotistic
just
are we
bigger.
to think that we are as big as the thing that literally gives us life? If the sun goes away, we die. Not in a day,
Yeah.
not in 2, in hours.
Yeah. But why does it have to be that big to still provide that whatever you're talking about? All those things. It doesn't
Because
have
it
to be
needs to-
massive to provide
Because it's
those
not
things.
just
Because
us.
it needs to reach all
9, 8. Well, I count Pluto, so 9.
Nine.
Yeah,
eight
yeah,
planets.
I definitely count. Pluto.
Okay,
You
but
can't
it,
discount
it
that.
doesn't
Depending on
have to
when
be
you were
big to
raised,
do
8
that.
or 9 planets.
It doesn't.
Yes. Where's the light bulb? Like, you know, light bulb.
Well, I mean,
Like-
no,
There
they have a
Small
great.
things do big things jobs. Is
Yeah,
what I'm
I know.
saying.
Yes, we
you know
tell
what I mean?
Savannah that
I'm-
because she's short.
I'm well aware
But
that small things
that-
accomplish big
Wow,
maneuvers.
Amanda.
No,
you know,
like, come on, man.
some of us work with
No.
small tools
Like-
and
like
they accomplish big
light
things.
light theory itself would tell you that it has to be as big as it is in order for it to like reach out to the planets that it does.
Man, the LEDs that they create now.
LED. So the sun's an LED.
No, I'm not
or-
saying that, but you're saying that it
Oh,
has
now
to
you're
be a
starting new
big
conspiracy
bulb.
theory.
She's saying it has to be a big bulb for it to reach all
It
those
does
places.
have to be a massive.
Yes.
But LEDs, no, I get that. I've seen those, but
Look how
I can.
small Jupiter is compared to this big ball of gas that provides us.
And
Like
we've
I
seen
can-
it. We've
Like,
literally
That's
seen
just a
it
diagram,
on
though.
a
What is that proving?
telescope.
That's just somebody. I could put Cat in the Hat on in the table and say that was a real story. You know.
It wasn't.
Wait a minute.
I'm
Do
sorry.
not take away my childhood. You
I mean,
killed
I'm
my
not-
I'm not
cat in the hat.
prepared for you to tell me that the sun is the same size as the earth and the
see,
cat didn't wear a fucking hat. This is not the day and this is not the time.
What is the difference of Earth from the sun? The sun is about 864,400 miles across.
so. See, I feel like I don't really believe this stuff, but I feel like I'm trying to argue that this is legit, and so it's kind of difficult because I don't wholeheartedly believe it.
You don't
However-
wholeheartedly believe the flat Earth theory.
No,
is what
no,
you're saying.
no,
Well, I
Do
don't
you
think,
wholeheartedly believe that the sun is equal?
no,
or
no.
smaller than
I
the
don't know. I mean, but you can't. It's like one of those things you have to question everything. You know, you're being told this by whoever, teachers, whoever, but who's to say that's
That liberal education I got.
legit? You know what I mean? Just because somebody else is telling you. That's what I was trying to say about the Cat in the Hat and throwing a table and saying it's
Stop ruining our childhood.
Well, no, okay. So I understand that, and I agree. You have to question everything that's thrown at you, or you should. You know, if you're, I guess, intelligent or what have you, you're going to have questions about things that is said or presented to you. I live in Florida, lived here my whole life, live across the state from NASA, seen rockets across the state shooting to the sky. Where do they go?
Space.
Well, that's what you're told.
Where else are they going to go?
Who knows? I've seen them shoot rockets in the sky too, and they land somewhere else though.
Those are missiles.
No, I'm saying, well, it could just be a missile. It could be going and landing somewhere else. You know, who's to know?
Chris, we would
That was
see
a great
that.
song.
If
No,
we
you wouldn't
shoot
see
them-
it because if it lands in the middle of the ocean somewhere,
Well, no, and
There
that's
are
true.
cruise
No,
ships
Chris
that would
or
be out there.
Savannah, no,
Did you just call him Chris?
I did. Because I was trying to debate between both of you, and it's getting very difficult.
That's rude.
No, so what Chris is saying is kind of true because when NASA launches these rockets that land in Jamaica or wherever they land, there's usually like boosters or something like that that are on these rockets, and they come off, and you can see those fall to the ocean. So you just muted mine. So that's cool. That's Amanda's. She's 2. We're gonna have to edit that out. So, but yeah. So no, I get what you guys are saying, but Chris, you do kind of see it fall if they're big enough, you'll see them fall from
Yeah.
wherever they're coming from. You know, good old Elon Musk now lands his rockets; they don't fall into the ocean.
That's what I'm saying. It could be just land, falling somewhere else. Have you ever seen when the guys that went to the moon came back? Did you ever see that
Yeah.
interview?
Yeah.
Not personally.
Not live, but like the recording of it. They look like we're told that they can't talk
Well,
about anything. I get they're tired and stuff, but it wasn't like it was immediately
No,
after.
no,
That. It was
and
weeks after.
There were certain things that they were told they were not allowed to talk about.
And I
for
think,
sure.
yeah, and I think,
And they went to their deaths, not Nutella.
yeah, and I
Didn't
think
Nutella?
that
Mm.
there's lost like radio transmissions, and then when they're on the moon, saying that there's ships in the distance.
Well, no, I still believe that there's a
Yeah.
lot of radio transmissions from NASA to them and vice versa that are muted. And I still believe that some of these rockets that we send up, because I believe they go to space, but I believe there are some
Yeah, I mean,
conversations that aren't.
Honestly, I believe it goes into space too. I don't believe that it's, like I said, I don't totally believe in the flat Earth theory, but I just, I don't know for sure because I've never been to space.
No, me either.
I
And
don't
I
know.
can't. I mean, I've been on an airplane and thought I've seen the curvature of the Earth, but
But it could be the windows. Those windows, a lot of those windows are like fisheye.
they're very concave
Yeah,
for the pressure.
yeah. So it could be just the fisheye causing the illusion of the curve of looking out that window. Because there's photos, I can show you photos all day long that people take like on a natural lens, not a fisheye,
Mm.
and the horizon is flat. And if the Earth's curved, the
They
horizon
should fall
shouldn't.
off somewhere.
Yeah, there
Well,
should be
but-
curves, so the horizon not totally flat if
I
the
guess
Earth's
you're right.
round.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the other thing that kind of plays into it is that, yeah, I don't believe it's flat, but I can kind of see some of their points. And these people that study this and like live flat Earth, and you hear them talk about it, I'm telling you, you'll be a believer by the end, 100%.
Well, I'm reading some of this stuff, reference to flat Earth on my computer as we go across this. Like we said, we didn't do any research or anything like that, so we're just kind of shooting from the hip here. But they talk about how gravity could be have a mysterious twin brother, and I'm going to read this. It's from mindblastingabraham.wordpress. Once I asked a well-educated relative of mine how a helicopter that is static for a few minutes in midair on a certain latitude, longitude position remains in the same position in spite of the Earth below it traveling at tremendous speed. I was told, and what is commonly quoted proof, again theoretical, and this one is super imaginary, that the atmospheric pressure pushes the helicopter along with the Earth, and who exactly has calculated that pressure? Remember, the pressure should be so strong that it should push a 30,000 kilo copter smoothly above the Earth while allowing birds weighing only 1 or 2 kilos to casually fly through it. So I guess what they're saying is that the atmosphere or whatever would keep the helicopter over a fixed position.
Because it's spinning as the Earth's spinning, so it's keeping it
Right.
over and it's same constant motion. I mean, that kind of makes sense. But yeah, that kind of makes sense. I've heard that explained as well. I think there is a rebuttal for that for the flat earthers, and I'm just not doing it justice because we didn't do our research, but I'm pretty sure there's a rebuttal for that.
This is one of my favorite articles I just pulled up. It's a PhD thesis, and the student's thesis is declaring the Earth to be flat, unmoving, young, about 13,000 years old, and the center of the universe.
Okay, so there again, we go back to your comment to Chris earlier about the sun. How are we so naive that we think that we are the center of the universe?
Like,
We don't think that there's more out there.
Did we just go back into the medieval times? What?
So you know that every photo NASA's presented of the Earth is either CGI'd or photoshopped.
No.
Yes.
You mean cleaned up?
Yeah. Photoshopped.
Pictures of the stars.
No, the pictures of the Earth.
Pictures of the Earth and stuff like that. They do clean it up because it's
Yeah.
They
some of it's
add
grainy or
clouds.
whatever.
Yeah, but come on, we got really, really good cameras out there. Come on,
No, we do.
They're not good
But
enough to take like
a clean
You're
picture of the
going up.
Earth
well, again,
Yes.
in
off a space station and one
let's
of
say
your
in the station-
satellites.
well, okay, you were talking.
Space station is
that
constantly
was
moving.
good. You were saying that the airplanes' windows are concaved or fish-eyed. Well, what do you think the space station's windows look like? And they're very concave because they have to hold pressure inside.
Not real.
No, I mean, but if they're going up there planning on taking pictures, I'm sure that you can make the window a little less fisheyed.
I don't know that they can like roll down that window up there.
Well, it's not that. It's just that they're not just talking about removing the fisheye look to it. We're talking about adding clouds to it. I mean, whether it's fisheyed or not, it should still be a clean picture that you don't need to add.
They're adding clouds.
Yeah. There's pictures out there where you could see that the clouds are photoshopped.
Pull up one of these pictures.
I think this picture just looks really
I mean that is clearly
clear on.
Amazing.
that's a NASA taking picture right there for sure.
It's a cartoon. It's a cartoon picture of the Earth.
What we're looking at is like a child drawn picture of the Earth.
I'm trying to find. I was trying to find like an actual picture.
Definitely not an actual picture.
Here's
that
a
was
Russian
definitely
satellite.
CGI.
They
What do you-
definitely
okay.
tell the
Do
truth.
we trust the
Russia
Russians, though?
does not CGI their photos.
They do not alter anything because they would
Dude.
never lie.
They would never-
Especially
Putin?
about never.
Putin would never lie, especially about the invasion of Ukraine and
Yes. Putin is
What
the
America
most
was doing
truthful
with
person
Ukraine.
on earth.
Didn't happen.
Quiet,
So wait,
Jonathan.
what you're telling me, sir?
You have to zoom in on it, but they've circled boxes or boxed around the clouds. But if you zoom into
They've
the
circled boxes.
the circle
what
boxes,
they-
if you zoom
they've
in on it,
highlighted-
and you can see it.
they've highlighted boxes.
They're
to-
saying this
to
is
look
not
at.
a real
Zoom in
picture
real
of the
tight.
Earth.
I did, but you can't. I mean, there's only so tight that you can zoom in.
But you
I
could-
guess that
you could
looks
see
like
it
the same
enough.
Freaking cloud.
And it's multiple.
No, look, see how it has that hook, and then this.
So
one has the
somebody
same hook.
didn't feel like
This one
doing
has a
their
circle,
job, and they
has the
like
same
Copy and
circle.
pasted
copy and
clouds
pasted
instead of
Why
being
would you do
original.
that
a
next to
lot
each
like
other,
I do
though?
things in my life.
Hiding something. Could be they're hiding something.
Over the ocean.
What are they hiding?
Yeah, it could be an alien base. Like
Okay.
they see
In
the
the ocean.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's a big thing. Like the Navy photos or videos that came out recently, the one of them had the object going in the water, like going underwater. So you think there's underwater alien bases?
No.
Yes, I'm
Probably
telling you.
underwater. Okay, if you were saying underwater
That's
Nazi
interesting.
base, then that would make more sense.
Wait a freaking minute.
Well, why
Stop.
adding
Pause
Nazi
it
to it
right.
didn't change
Because-
anything?
Because there's like, I wouldn't say proof, but there's kind of proof that the Nazis have built like concrete tunnels to try and escape. And it was rumored that they were going to try and escape to Antarctica and make a base in Antarctica.
Yeah,
Well, I don't
after
know that it
World War
was
II.
rumored.
I think they did.
It actually happened.
yeah.
Well, they tried to, and it didn't work
How do you know?
because people have gone in those tunnels and they've been blocked off.
Have you been to Antarctica?
So apparently,
My
Yes.
apparently, looking at the past military operations that involved the Antarctic, Operation Deep Freeze, Operation High Jump, and Operation Fishbowl. Also interviews with Richard E. Byrd, which is the admiral I was telling you about, and apparently they're very telling to prove the flat Earth theory. So I'm telling you, it's fascinating to hear their accounts of doing those operations in the Antarctic, and especially what Admiral Byrd encountered.
Yeah.
Wait. So you're telling me that the sun is
You're
equal
still
or
stuck on the
smaller
freaking sun.
than
That's
the
great.
Earth?
I love it.
We're
Actually,
still
no.
on that.
Still, I haven't moved past that. But how do you explain like the different levels of the Earth, like the core and the other part and that one part above that part? Oh, the outer core and the mantle and the upper mantle and the crust. Which
We've only the furthest. Oh, what's the furthest? Russia is
It
the one that
very
did it.
obvious that you are looking at a picture and reading all.
Oh
these
yeah,
things.
because I didn't know any of that. I just remember there was a core and that it was apparently quite hot, and if it cooled, we're screwed.
So we've only dug. It was in Russia, I believe. I can't remember what it is. I'm trying to look it up how deep it was, but we've only dug so deep down into the. So 12.2 kilometers is the deepest we've dug. So it's like 40,230 feet.
Thank you.
So we can't. There's only so much you could prove about what the Earth is made out of. I
So
mean,
how do we know that there's a core and an outer
exactly.
core?
How do we know? Because of they say because of volcanoes, because of this, because of that. But
Well,
It could
apparently,
be people in the hollow
Yokohama
earth.
and his colleagues found that there was a thermal conductivity of the bridge magnet that was 1.5 times higher than expected. I don't know what any of that means.
Me
but
neither.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But they could have been.
Plate tectonics. That's how we know that there's a core, dude.
That could be the people in the hollow earth having a bumping party, and it's shaking the top earth.
So you think they made a cup of coffee pretty hot?
Yeah,
Slid right over.
yeah, could be, could be.
So since we're going back onto what we've recently talked about, flying above the South Pole, I just found this story and I thought this was fascinating. It was pretty funny. And again, this is on Mind Blasting Abraham. Once a scientist friend of mine started arguing, and this is reference the flying North Pole, South Pole, circumferencing the Earth, on a north-south axis. Once a scientist friend of mine started arguing with me about the shape of the Earth, obviously defending its globalness. I told him to do a small experiment and get back to me. He hasn't gotten back to me about the experiment yet. All I asked him to do was take a globe and place a miniature plane on NZ and fly the plane over the South Pole towards Argentina. I asked him to pause when the plane is right above the pole and just check the position of the plane. Scientists would immediately say that because of gravity, we won't feel that we are upside down. But the wise would note, and I had not mentioned about the people inside the plane. Right. I just wanted you to note the position of the plane. Can a passenger aircraft fly upside down for so long without any technical problems? So what this guy is saying is, as we are flying on a north-south axis and we get to the South Pole, the plane is upside down. It's inverted, a passenger plane.
Then that's convincing that the Earth is
flat.
Yeah. Because if you're upside down, then that means that people in Australia would be upside down all the time, so the cars wouldn't work.
No. Australia's on the side. It's under the equator.
Like New Zealand, and there's another country that's down there too. So that would be the same principle. They couldn't drive cars there because the shit would be upside down.
Well, okay, it continues on. It says, what's more funny is the fact that even well-educated people quickly add that because of the size of the Earth, we will not feel upside down. The question is not what we feel. The question is, what is the position of the aircraft at the equator of the South Pole? No matter how big the Earth, at some point, the plane has to be totally vertical and totally upside down. Remember, the Earth does not rotate downside up.
Yeah, but that shouldn't matter because of the whole gravity thing. Everything's pulling down towards the Earth.
Well, no,
core.
That's not what he's saying. What he's saying, you wouldn't feel upside down because your body, I guess Earth or gravity would make you feel like you're
if it exists.
If it exists, well, we don't know that because we've never flown north south in the circumference that way, as Chris has said earlier. However, so what they're saying, Chris, is and Amanda and Savannah, is that when the plane reaches the South Pole, it's completely upside down and it would have mechanical issues.
I don't believe it.
Well,
even with the globe theory, that wouldn't make sense.
Well, how do you mean?
Because if that would make anything that's that low on the Earth, like if you go to Antarctica or anything like that, everything on that ground would be inverted then, and everything would be falling down.
Well,
because
why does the toilet spin backwards in Africa?
Australia. Oh yeah.
Sorry.
What?
I don't know, because the way the jets are pointed in the toilet, I guess the way they make their jets, I don't know.
No, they say once you cross the equator,
the
spin is different.
Isn't that the gravity? Because the way the Earth's axis is.
If gravity exists,
but so now
there's a scientific explanation for it.
All right, what's the scientific explanation? Number 3, caller.
Because of the rotation of the Earth, the Coriolis effect means that hurricanes and other giant storms swirl counterclockwise and clockwise in the southern hemisphere. So it's because of the rotation of the Earth.
Thank you, caller.
Okay, so on that, Adam. On that, so it spins one way in the northern hemisphere, a different way in the southern hemisphere because of the Coriolis effect. Correct. Is that that's basically what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do things go in an opposite direction? I mean, why at the equator is everything reversed?
Because of the
it's
Coriolis effect.
because it's spinning in a different direction.
So what you're saying is the northern hemisphere is spinning, let's say,
No.
right to left, and the southern hemisphere is spinning left to right?
No, because you're like on an axis. And so it's all spinning this way. But like it's like if this was the earth.
Well, that's pretty flat.
I know. I don't have a
Here.
if this was the earth, right?
Yeah.
I guess our listeners can't see this, but Chris can edit this part out. It's spinning like this.
You're going to pour Mountain Dew out on your computer.
I know. On my new computer. Don't tell my husband.
Yeah.
At least you have Apple Care on it.
That's true.
So you don't believe the airplanes on the South Pole would be upside down and it would affect the flight of the airplane?
Relative to us, they would be upside down. But planes can fly upside down.
Not a passenger plane and not for an extended period of time.
Of course, dude. It's actually a cool story. The guy who first created the 737 or something, when he was trying to sell it, they did a full 360 in it. It's the only time it's ever been done. That's how he sold it. Was he showed the investors and stuff that his 737 could do a full 360 in midair. So yes, they can fly upside down.
But for how long?
As long as the pilot can successfully do it. Now, if you have that guy who flew over the Hudson, yeah, he'll probably be able to do it a long time.
Well, I think
Whatever
it's
his name
fuel
was.
injected. If
Denzel.
carbureted airplanes, no, they couldn't because the fuel wouldn't fall into the carburetor, wouldn't be put into the carburetor, wouldn't make it to it. So fuel injected motors, I'm guessing, or I don't know. I'm not a mechanic by any means.
Well, a fuel injected motor pulls gas from
yeah,
from the tank in the same manner,
right,
out of a tube,
right,
out of through a filter at the bottom of the tank or whatever.
yeah,
If you invert this airplane, your fuel leaves where your tube's sitting and goes to the top of the tank.
Yeah.
Essentially showing a full tank, if you will.
Mm.
Let's do Top Gun because I love this movie.
Oh, geez.
When Maverick and Goose they come across the Russian or the Soviet plane, right? And then they're questioned, well, how can you have taken this picture because a MiG can't do an inverted dive? Well, it did. And he saw it do an inverted dive. Okay, so that's military planes, and I can understand that they have some sort of, I guess, development in their tanks, but I don't think that they would spend that much money to put that into a civilian 737 to fly upside down
Dave?
for a length of time. Yes.
Dave, I don't know how to tell you this, but Top Gun is not a real thing. It
Don't
was a
you
movie.
destroy my Tom Cruise was not only a ace fighter
No.
pilot, he was a great race car driver. See Days of Thunder. Okay.
No,
He-
I don't know how to tell you this, but he
you
did
will
not
wreck
jump
my
off
child-
of
you
the
will
Burj Khalifa.
not wreck
He-
my childhood. Do not take this away from me and Tom Cruise.
He's
The only thing I
also-
will
he's
let you
also
know
a
is that he was a
Scientologist.
fantastic lawyer
he was a
and
Scientologist.
represented a football player played by Cuban Gooding Jr.
He did.
That is true.
However,
Jerry Maguire.
and I think this is where his movies went down is when he joined Scientology.
He joined
but he-
Scientology because of Top Gun.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did. That's how he learned how to fly.
What?
Yes.
Sinu taught him how to fly?
Yes.
No.
Because he was
way.
dyslexic
Okay,
and he was having a hard
technically-
time. That's all true.
Amanda, technically, Tom Cruise was a fighter pilot because he did all his own stunts. So he flew the plane. So in a way, he's a fighter pilot and a race
Sure.
car driver.
He is as much of a fighter pilot as I am an anthropologist or a paleontologist because one time I got to like sweep off the dirt off dinosaur bones.
Dinosaur
Well,
bolts.
Dinosaurs don't exist.
What the hell? Here we go.
Chris, no.
My whole childhood is going down the freaking drain right now. We don't have a globe, no dinosaurs. Tom Cruise was not a fighter pilot or a
Yes, he
race car
was.
driver.
In a way.
This is
football
horrible.
player.
Or
So why would our planet be flat when all of the other planets that we could easily see and we used to be able to see with our own eyes are circular?
They're circular, but how do you know they're globe shaped? We see that there's a circle.
We see them with telescopes.
What do you see? You just see a circle. You don't see a whole sphere.
No, like
well, if you're looking at the moon, and I agree with Adam.
Pluto, like they can see the rotation for days as it rotates. We can see the rotation of it, so we know it's turning. It's like Why would they all be that and we would be flat, you know?
Because we're the center of the universe, and the sun is smaller or the exact same size as the Earth. I just heard you take a big sigh.
This is like one of those conspiracy theories that just it is the most outlandish of all of them. Because like we have scientific experiments that we've set up that definitively prove the Earth is round,
and they have
it's so simple.
They have several that prove it the other way too.
Thousands of years ago, thousands. Those ancient ass fucks knew how to make this, how to figure it out.
So I guess the Earth's not flat, huh?
The sun is smaller or the same size as the Earth.
Well, I don't know. I mean, this whole airplane thing has me jacked up now. But I mean, I understand what you're saying. You know, if people in Africa aren't falling off the freaking continent.
Yeah. So say it can go either way. I think it can go either way until I see it for myself, to be honest.
I think I have seen it for myself. I mean,
Astro projecting. Astro projecting. No, astro projecting.
No, when you fly on an airplane, I feel that you can see the curvature of the Earth. I don't
know.
Well, you're right. I don't know. I don't know if it's the concave windows. I don't know if it's something like that. But I feel that the skyline sinks below the water, and I feel that there's a curvature of the Earth if I look out far enough when I'm on an airplane at 35,000 feet. I think it's round, but then I do have some questions. I mean, this whole podcast has brought me to question myself.
Yeah. I'd like to have a guest on to talk deeper into this at some point in our future when we get to that level, because he could explain it a whole lot better than I can and have answers. He would have answers for all the your guys' rebuttals.
Who would your guest be?
David Weiss.
You would want David Weiss.
Yeah.
You think he would come on?
Yeah, I think he would. Yeah.
I mean, I'd be interested to talk to somebody.
Yeah, I'd like to have a follow-up episode on this and kind of dive deeper into it and have somebody that really actually knows something about the flat Earth, besides me just looking some stuff on the old interwebs.
No, I agree with you. I think that having a professional.
Can we bring like a physicist also?
They've done that. He's done that with there's debates with him on podcasts with other people that don't believe it, and it's most of the time it gets off topic when they do that. I've noticed is that it just gets crazy off topic, and not necessarily that they're arguing ready to fist fight, but it just ends up way off on tangents that it's like they're not even debating anymore. So yep. But anyway, I think that's it, guys. I thank everyone. It's been fun, and we didn't have as many guests as we like to, but I think we made it happen with what we did.
This has been so crazy. If you feel like you also don't understand why they think that the sun is equal or smaller sizes to the Earth, reach out to us. The Waters Runs Deep podcast@gmail.com and let us know that you agree. Also, sorry if you're like, who the hell has been talking? What is going on? I promise that at least 2/3 of us are sober.
Yeah.
And that's where we are.
Well, I mean, I'm still curious about this whole freaking airplane thing. Now this got me all jacked up. If a plane goes to the South Pole, is it upside down?
About the whole sun thing.
Thank you.
You're with Amanda.
Yes. Because all of my life, granted it's only 13 years, but all of my life I've been told the sun is just...
The sun is bigger than us. Far bigger.
Okay, for all my life, most of my life, I was told that Santa Claus is real, but guess what?
Yeah,
don't you do that.
It wasn't.
Guess
not
what?
today. Not today.
Do not ruin these kids.
You ruined the sun. You ruined Dr. Seuss. And now Santa Claus. Not today, Christopher.
What the hell with Santa Claus? You
Easter Bunny.
Top Gun.
You're welcome.
Tom Cruise.
Thunder.
Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy.
Chris, shut up. I'm going to throw this Pokemon at you.
The next thing you're going to tell me.
She's only 13.
The next thing the next street you're going to go down to Sesame Street and just kill that one for me too.
Hold on.
If you
They're
go
all
down
puppets.
that road, this is
Just going to make sure I'm well aware that the, what's the German thing that comes after you at Christmas time?
oh, yeah.
St. Crispin?
No, the Christmas crinkle. What's his name?
Mr. What?
No, he's the anti-Claus.
Yeah. What's
Anti-Santa Claus. Oh, people are probably screaming
Uncle
into
Jack.
their
Anti-Santa Claus.
Krampus.
Krampus. You're going to tell me
Krampus,
Krampus
yeah.
isn't real.
Yeah. Now, Krampus is pretty real. He's a scary some SOB too.
Oh, man. Well,
I think this was a very, very eye-opening episode.
Yeah. I think it could have been better if we did our research.
I'm going to really need like 5 backups because I'm so confused. I mean, I know that I think you're wrong and that these people are lunatics.
I like how you say you think I'm wrong when I'm just trying to present it that way. It's not necessarily I believe it that way.
I mean, if you're presenting, don't
The
you
way
really
you've
believe?
been talking,
You know?
I mean, I
all day,
still-
it sounded like you are a flat earther.
That's fair. That's fair. Flat Earther's a good name. I could call you guys Globers. That's what they call people that believe
Globers.
Are we
Globers.
The
Yeah.
Harlem Globers?
Yeah,
The
the
Harlem Globe.
Yeah, the Globe.
Glober sounds like either something that you call your very fat baby. Look at my little Glober.
Globus.
Look at those globy cheeks.
Look at that little Glober. Or it's like what you call a larger human, and you're like, that's a Glober over there.
Well, that's being very, very
Well, as a
kind.
larger
That's being very kind.
Glober.
That one's on a whole different planet himself.
Such a Glober.
Thanks, guys, for
man.
tuning in. I appreciate it. This was fun.
Oh, Christ.
Yes, it's been fun, and we'll see you on the next one. Please make sure you rate and review on your podcast host of choice. Check out our Instagram, give us a follow rather, and tell your friends. We need some more listeners. And thank everyone. Until the next one.
On July 20th, 1969, Apollo 11 landed on the moon. Or did they? Tune in next time when Adam tells us all about the moon landing, if it happened, the conspiracy theories around it, and all of the fun things going on. Till then, to infinity and beyond.